The river sighed, a long, slow exhalation that carried the scent of decay and secrets. Fog clung to its surface, a shroud woven from moonlight and forgotten dreams. It was a place of shadows, where the trees leaned in too close, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching for the water. This was not a place for the living, not after dark. When the sun dipped below the horizon, the river claimed its due, a silence thick with unspoken words and the weight of watchful eyes. Legends clung to the riverbank like moss. Tales whispered around crackling fires, each retelling adding another layer of fear. They spoke of a ghost, a spectre tethered to the murky depths, the one-eyed ghost they called it. A figure swathed in rags, its face forever obscured save for a single malevolent eye that burned with a cold, ethereal light. Some said it was the soul of a drowned fisherman, forever searching for his lost catch. Others claimed it was a vengeful spirit, seeking retribution for a forgotten wrong. Old Man Hemlock, the ferryman, knew the stories better than most. He had heard them whispered in the wind, carried by the river's current, and spoken in hushed tones by the villagers. He had lived by the river his entire life, its rhythms woven into the fabric of his being. The river was not just a body of water to him, it was a living entity, a companion and sometimes a tormentor. He remembered the night the whispers began, the night the ferryman before him, a man named Silas, disappeared without a trace. It was a night shrouded in mystery and fear, a night that changed everything. Silas had been ferrying a young couple across the river when a thick fog descended, swallowing them whole. The fog was so dense that it seemed to have a life of its own, creeping and curling like a living creature. They never found the couple. The river kept its secrets well, and the villagers could only speculate about what had happened that fateful night. Only Silas's empty boat, drifting aimlessly in the current, a single oar spinning in the water. It was as if the river had claimed them, leaving behind only a haunting reminder of their existence. That was the night the stories of the one-eyed ghost took on a life of their own. The villagers spoke of a spectral figure seen by the river, a ghostly apparition with a single piercing eye, forever searching for the lost souls of the river. The sightings were always fleeting, always just out of reach. They appeared like whispers in the wind, barely there, and then gone in an instant. A flicker of movement in the periphery, a cold spot in the air, the faint scent of riverweed and something else. Something ancient and unsettling. It was as if the very air carried the weight of forgotten memories, echoing through the mist. Fishermen returning home late at night spoke of a ghostly light bobbing on the water, leading them astray. They would follow it, entranced, only to find themselves lost in the dense fog, far from their intended path. Children swore they saw a figure watching them from the tree line, a tall, gaunt silhouette with a single burning eye. They would huddle together, pointing and whispering, their imaginations running wild with tales of the mysterious watcher. But whenever anyone tried to get a closer look, the apparition would vanish, leaving behind only a lingering sense of dread and the certainty that they were not alone. The fog seemed to hold secrets, ancient and untold, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. The eerie landscape, shrouded in mist, felt alive with unseen eyes, watching, waiting and whispering in the silence. Then came the night of the red moon. The sky bled crimson, casting long, distorted shadows across the land. It was on this night that young Thomas, a boy barely old enough to shave, decided to tempt fate. He had always scoffed at the stories, dismissing them as old wives' tales meant to scare children. He would prove them wrong. Armed with nothing but a lantern and a head full of bravado, He set out to confront the one-eyed ghost. He never returned. They found his lantern the next morning, smashed against the riverbank, its light extinguished. Of Thomas, there was no sign. Section 6. Echoes in the water. The river, it seemed, guarded its secrets jealously. It swallowed everything that touched its surface, leaving behind only whispers and shadows. Years passed, seasons turned. The stories of the one-eyed ghost faded into local folklore, told only in hushed tones around campfires. But the fear remained. It lingered in the air, a constant reminder of the unseen forces at play. The river had a long memory, and it never truly forgot. Section 7. The Stranger's Tale. One cold autumn evening, a stranger arrived in the village. Tall and enigmatic, with eyes that held the weight of distant horizons, he carried himself with an air of quiet authority. He spoke little, but when he did, his voice was low and melodic, like the rustling of leaves. He sought lodging at the village inn, his gaze lingering on the old faded map hanging above the fireplace. A map that depicted the river, its course snaking across the parchment like a dark, sinuous serpent. Section 8. A Revelation Unveiled. Over mugs of ale warmed by the fire, the stranger listened intently as the villagers recounted the legend of the one-eyed ghost. The night was thick with mystery, the air heavy with the scent of burning wood and the whispers of old tales. He nodded slowly, a knowing look in his eyes. The flickering flames cast shadows that danced across his face, revealing a depth of understanding that seemed almost otherworldly. "The ghost," he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. His words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of untold secrets and ancient lore. "It is not what you think." His voice carried a tone of warning, as if urging them to reconsider everything they thought they knew. He spoke of ancient magic, of a curse that ran deeper than the river itself. The river, he explained, was not just a body of water, but a living entity, pulsating with an energy that was both powerful and dangerous. The one-eyed ghost, he explained, was not a vengeful spirit, but a protector, a guardian bound to the river, tasked with keeping its secrets safe. This spirit was a sentinel, watching over the waters and the lands that depended on them. The missing souls, he claimed, were not victims, but sacrifices. These souls were chosen not by chance, but by a destiny intertwined with the river's ancient power, offerings to appease the river and ensure its continued favor. The villagers listened, their faces a mix of fear and awe, as the stranger's tale wove a new understanding of the world they thought they knew. Section 9. The River Remembers. The villagers listened, a mixture of fear and disbelief etched on their faces. The stranger's words challenged everything they thought they knew. He finished his ale, his gaze fixed on the dancing flames. "The river remembers," he said, rising to his feet. "It always remembers." And with that, he was gone, vanished into the morning mist as if he had never been there at all, leaving behind a village forever changed by his words and a river that flowed on silent and watchful, its secrets safe for another day.